Hello and welcome to Electronic Solutions. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for the latest notifications. In my previous video, I have explained about the pin diagram of 8051 controller. Now today in this video, I am going to explain about the 8051 architecture. Now before going to the architecture, let us first discuss some important features of 8051. So 8051 is basically an 8-bit microcontroller. The meaning of 8-bit is that the CPU can work only on 8-bit of data at a time. So the data larger than 8-bit has to be broken into the 8 pieces to be processed by the CPU. This 8051 is referred as a system on chip because it contains 128 bytes of RAM, 4 kilobytes of ROM, two timers each of 16 bit, one serial port, and the 4 IO ports used for communication with the peripherals is all on a single chip, and therefore it is termed as a system on chip. Now this is the architecture or block diagram of 8051 microcontroller. Now we will discuss all these blocks one by one. The first block is a CPU. So CPU is called Central Processing Unit. The Central Processing Unit is a brain of microcontroller and it controls all the operations which are performed on this microcontroller. The CPU reads the program which is stored in the program memory, that is ROM, and it executes the program to perform this expected task. The CPU also contains the arithmetic and logic unit. This arithmetic and logic unit perform all arithmetic and logical operations. So the arithmetic operations involve addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the logical operations involve AND, OR, XOR, and some Boolean operations are also there which are rotate, clear, and complement. So it manipulates the 8-bit and 16-bit data, and it consists of an Boolean processor which can also perform the task mentioned above. Then there are some registers also present inside the CPU, but we will discuss about the register in the next slide. Now the next block is a on-chip ROM. So ROM stands for read-only memory. So there is a 4 kilobyte of on-chip ROM present to store the program in 8051. The ROM memory is a non-volatile memory. The meaning is that whenever the power is switched off, the contents which are present in this memory, they are not lost. They are restored. The second is the on-chip RAM. RAM stands for random access memory. So this is a volatile memory. The meaning is that whenever the power is switched off, the data which is contained in the RAM will get lost. The RAM memory is basically used to store the data, that is some temporary results, and the capacity of this on-chip RAM is 128 bytes. So all this memory organization or the detailed memory organization of this ROM and RAM will discuss in my incoming videos. So keep watching my channel. The next block is a timer block. So there are two 16-bit timers which are available in 8051 controller. One is called as a timer 0 and the second is called as timer 1. So these timers, they are used for the measurement of the intervals to determine the pulse width of the pulses. Now these timers, they can be either operated as a timer or as a counter. So we can decide this timer or the counter mode by using by setting the bits in the particular register. Again we will discuss all the details about the timers and the counter in my next videos. The next block is the interrupt control. Microcontroller serves the variety of devices, and whenever some external devices they need the service from the microcontroller, then these interrupt signals are generated. And when the interrupts are generated, the microcontroller completes the execution of the current instruction and then it will serve that particular device. and after completing the service routine or the subroutine, again it will come back to the main program. So in 8051 there are total 5 interrupts present, out of which the 2 interrupts are external interrupts and the 3 interrupts are internal interrupts. So again we will discuss all the details of this interrupt in the next video. Then next is a bus control. So bus is nothing but it is a group of wires to carry the data or the address. So there are two types of buses present in this. One is the address bus and second is a data bus. So the address bus is for carrying the address and it is a 16-bit bus, and the data bus is a 8-bit bus and it will carry the data. The next is the 4 I/O ports. The 4 input output ports are used for communicating with the peripheral devices. So whenever you want to connect some sensors, then in that case that particular port will act as an input port, and whenever you want to connect some LEDs or some output devices, then in that case the port will act as an output port. So these ports, they can be configured either as an input or as an output. Now how to configure the port as an input and output? So when you want to configure the port as an output, then the logic 0 should be applied to that particular bit or to that particular IO port. And whenever you want to configure it as an input, then the logic 1 is applied to that particular port. And by default, all these 4 input output ports, they are configured as an input port. These 4 bits, they are 8-bit wide. So basically total 32 pins are allocated for this input and output port. The next is a serial port. The serial port is used for the serial communication. There is only one serial port available for 8051, and the signals which are used during the serial communications are TXD and RXD. Next comes is the oscillator circuit. The oscillator is an important block because it provides the clock signal for the CPU. The details of oscillator circuit I have already discussed in my previous video. So there are 2 circuits by which you can use the oscillator. So I will provide the link of that video in the description box. So this is what is the brief introduction of all these blocks in 8051. Now we will discuss about some 8051 registers. So the first register is a register or accumulator. So the accumulator register is used for storing the temporary results or the result of all the arithmetic operations. Next is the R registers. So there are total R0 to R7. So total 8 general purpose registers available, and there are 4 different register banks, and each bank contains the 8 registers, and these registers banks can be selected by using the bits RS0 and RS1 in the PSW register. So these registers are also used for storing the temporary data or storing the temporary variables and for storing intermediate results similar to the accumulator. Then comes a B register. So the register B is it is also an 8-bit register, and it is used mainly for the multiplication and the division operations. So whenever we want to perform the multiplication and division operation, then in that case your data or the operands must be present in 2 registers. One is A, that is accumulator, and second is the register B, and it is also an 8-bit register. So in many times we can call it as an spare accumulator or the extended accumulator. The next is a PSW, which is called as a program status word, and this is basically a flag register. So this register is used to reflect the status of arithmetic and the logical operations. Here in the format, if you can see, there are five flags are there. One is a carry flag, then there is an auxiliary carry flag, overflow flag, parity flag. Four flags are there, and along with that, there are two bits. One is a RS0 and RS1, and these two bits are used to select a particular register bank. So this is what is the format of the program status word. We will discuss this detailed about this PSW in the separate video. Then next there is a DPTR register. So this DPTR register is a data pointer, and it is a 16-bit register. All other registers what we have discussed previously, they all are 8-bit registers. DPTR is meant for pointing to data, and it is mainly used by the 8051 to access the external memory using the address which is indicated by this DPTR. So whatever we load in the DPTR, using that you can access the external memory. It is and DPTR is the only 16-bit register available and is often used to store the 2-byte values. The next is a PC, that is a program counter. The program counter is again a 16-bit register, and this program counter basically keep the track of all the addresses which are present in your program. So this PC starts at 0000 when this 8051 initializes, and it is incremented every time after an instruction is executed. And remember that this program counter is not always incremented by 1. Some instructions may require 2 or 3 bytes. So in such cases, the program counter will be incremented by 2 or 3. For example, otherwise, if the instruction is a 1-byte instruction, then in that case, the program counter will every time incremented by 1, and it basically keep the track of your program execution. The next is a stack pointer. The stack pointer is used in the operation of the stack. So this SP will be initialized to 07H, that is the address of this stack pointer. So whenever we push the data onto the stack, so the stack pointer will be first incremented by 1 and the data will be pushed onto the stack. And whenever we want to do the pop operation, at that time the stack pointer, first the data will be retrieved and then the stack pointer will be decremented by 1. So again the working of this stack pointer we will discuss when we study the stack operation in detail. So by default the location of this stack pointer is 07H, and whenever we want to store the data onto the stack or push the data, then the stack pointer will be incremented by 1 and it will show the address 08H. So the first data will be stored at the memory location 08H. So this is what all about the brief introduction of 8051 architecture. So if you like my video, then please subscribe to my channel and share the video with your friends. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.